Thank you to our patrons for helping make this podcast possible.
40, 50 feet, why don't you turn around and let's get back into the table. Okay. Let this turn around to your right. Set up. Long way. Let's just lead him. Alright, let him. Walk around it. Just behind that field if you're gonna be pick up the main set. I don't want to go into the side if I can afford it. That's right now. Let them get a view from there and I'll see what the field of view looks like.
Wow. Welcome back to Void of Femme.
Hi.
It's your boys Rav and Bill.
You know what's crazy?
What?
We don't have lag.
We don't have lag.
This is beautiful.
What'd you say?
This
I couldn't
is
hear
beautiful.
You. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you because I talked at the same time. And
See, that's we have fun here.
we're just joking around. I could actually hear him okay. Bill,
We're in person.
this is my first time meeting you, man. What's up? How
I
you
know,
doing?
dude.
Yeah,
Good to see
man,
you,
good to
man.
see
Good
you,
to see
good to
you.
see
Good to
you.
see you, dude.
Good to see you. So this is a special episode. We don't have Mitch helping us out. No, because he just doesn't want to.
Yeah. He just didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that's fair. You know.
That's valid.
That's his prerogative.
That's his prerogative.
You know,
if he doesn't
but-
want to work, we're not gonna force him.
Uh-uh.
It's not who we are.
No. I mean, he will pay
Yes.
sorely for his crimes. But
Now, the quality might not be the same as what people are used to, on the one hand, right? It's a different camera, different environment, different microphones, but it's because we wanted to record something outside
yeah,
at night and just kind of chill. you
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
Have a good old time.
got the. I don't know if they can hear the
They
the
can.
pool
They
in
probably
the back.
can.
Yeah, it's nice. People are walking around and shit. It's kind of a vibe. I like
It's
this.
a vibe. I like it. It's
Yeah,
chill.
yeah.
You know, you guys did a couple episodes without me,
Yes.
and it hurt my feelings.
Yeah, especially because like those were like the best episodes. dude.
Yeah,
They were,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
much
yeah,
better.
yeah, right?
So much
Yeah.
better, dude. Like,
Well, you know, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but like, you know, ultimately, here we are, an episode without Mitch. Is this our first episode without Mitch?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'm handling all the production side of things this time.
How's it feel?
Man, this job is so fucking easy. Why do we even have Mitch?
Yeah, on God, this reminds me a lot of, well, nicer because we have these mics now,
Yeah.
but like doing, like we don't fish and
We Don't Grill.
shit like that. Yeah.
This is just We Don't Chill.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Episode title.
You just think of that?
Yep, I did.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
I actually don't, but you know, I like the thought.
Yeah.
So-
Well, dude, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. You're always welcome here, but like only in like 2-day intervals.
Are you talking about the podcast or your home?
Both. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. We were really kind of struggling ahead of the recording because we were going to try to use a different camera setup and other things, and ultimately we just resorted to something that's really fucking basic. I'm actually going to take a picture of this
Yeah,
and post it for the patrons.
it looks a little insane.
There's
I know.
Bill, and then yeah, there's
I did
that
my
stuff.
thing.
Yo, that probably looks good.
You
Mitch is
probably look good.
Yeah, I do.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah, for
Anyway,
sure.
That's for the patrons.
Yeah, you got to pay money to see that.
Yeah, it's real
It's
good.
really good though.
If you want to see how good our setup is, how you're supposed to do this as a professional podcaster, I feel like there's too much of me in this. Am I tripping? Here we go.
just keep like it just slowly you are no longer
Am
in the
I tripping,
shot.
or is this like too much of me still?
It's hard for me to really see what's going on.
Yeah, I think you're good. I think you're
I'm
good now.
I think
I
I'm
think
good.
we're good
yeah.
now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So-
no, it's I like this setup. This is nice.
Me too. So what are we
should do this
doing,
more
man?
often.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I feel like let's just talk about. I mean, you got here a few days ago. We've been hanging out. You missed
Yep.
Square. Square came.
I did. I left. I got here the same day as the Square left.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he left earlier in the day, but he didn't know.
We didn't know because like you were like all over the place, and we knew that your phone was not sending. Well, we didn't know this, but we knew that you didn't have signal.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, he'll show up eventually.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And then like. Square was just like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know, he had like a soccer game, like all this other shit going on. And so I was just like, okay, yeah, I get it. You got to
That's valid.
he stayed from like Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then like you texted me and was just like, oh yeah, I'll be here later today. And I was just like, oh, that was kind of sudden, you know?
Yeah.
And apparently like none of your messages were going through. And so, it was just, it's funny.
But I showed you the messages later, and then
Yes.
they didn't go through, and the dates were stamped the day prior.
I mean, I would have
to
just
my
believed
arrival.
you.
That's true. But I guess what I'm saying.
That would have been a great lie, though. Be like, oh, my messages.
I feel like a lot of people can get away with, like, you know, when they're traveling somewhere, like, oh, I'm not getting. My signal was so up and down.
Yeah.
That sometimes I would look at my phone and certain messages said sent, but they were the later messages, not the earlier ones.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why things were sent out of
Well,
order.
like, you sent me, because I was trying to call you just to be
Yeah.
like, hey, dude,
What's
like,
going
let's
on?
figure out
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
you know? And you sent me, like, I got like 7 messages all in jumbled order. So it would be like, yeah, so that's what I think we should do. And then the next one will be like, well, if it's about that email. And I'll be like, it's not.
That's so good.
Yeah, that shit was so funny.
Yeah, my bad about that.
No. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
It's funny either way.
Yeah.
So how have you been liking Ashville?
Awesome. It's really awesome. It's late July, and it has not been crazy hot.
It's not been. It was like kind of hot today.
Kind of. Like compared to like last year in
Yeah, in South Carolina.
South
Yeah.
Carolina, you step outside and it feels like you're swimming through the humidity.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I like Asheville a lot more.
Yeah.
Walterboro is not exactly like a bastion of like oh hell yeah, there's so much shit to do.
I mean, I love it because I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
And I have like certain fixations and aesthetic appreciations and lifestyle appreciations that like overlap with what I think South Carolina can offer a person.
Right.
But it is like such a different place. And I don't think it is a place for most people.
No, I mean don't get me wrong. There's some parts of it that I miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I'm in an apartment now, so I can't just like be stupid loud all the time, or like just like walk outside and smoke a blunt or something like that. I mean, I can walk down there and smoke a blunt.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know
not
what
the
I
same.
mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like I used to be able to like, okay, this is a weird one, but since I lived in the middle of nowhere, I loved like with the ability. No one saw my yard. If I wanted to piss in my yard, I could just piss in my yard.
Yeah.
And there's something like
I pissed in your yard a bunch.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's
You
such
gotta-
a good yard to piss in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you just find a tree and piss on it, or like me, I just would straight up just go over on the side of the house, not on the house.
No,
but-
I know what you mean. I just walked over somewhere and pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, who's gonna see you?
No one.
Whereas like here,
an
you
eagle.
do that. You know, there's an eagle.
Eagles would see me.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I guess.
Because when I would go out, there was like a routine for a while where I wake up in the morning, I grab a Red Bull, I grab a King Palm,
Yeah.
or I grab a King Palm and I grabbed a homemade iced tea from the fridge. I'd go outside and I'd kind of like be in that one area where
Yeah.
we would grill. And I would just pace around writing songs or like getting my day started writing songs.
Yeah,
pacing around, and I would see like eagles like circle
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
and I'd be like,
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, no, those things are fucked up. Like, if you leave, I think they're hawks, technically.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
they're
yeah.
eagles.
Hawks,
but,
yeah.
like, I had a friend who, like, he had a cat, and a hawk just, like, snatched it.
Yeah.
And just, like, you just heard, like,
That's
into the distance,
crazy.
and then he just never saw it again.
Poor fucking thing.
Yeah.
They can
like-
grab like deer and stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
small
those big
deer
ones.
goats,
Those big
yeah.
ones will really, yeah. I don't think they get like super big out there,
No.
but like they're because they used to be like that pole like by where the barn was like it would perch up there, and they'd be like, "Oh, there's a hawk."
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like me and my mom would walk out there sometimes and see it. But like, yeah, no,
I also miss the animals. I miss the gators, snakes.
yeah, I don't. I
You know
like,
what? Yes, I know what you mean. Yes, there is a cool thing about seeing it once in a while, but the risk of it being somewhere, having the risk
Yeah.
of there might be a snake in the house.
I remember like like if it rains, you get those like really big palmetto bugs.
Oh
like those
my
big
god,
cockroaches.
the massive ones.
Yeah, and so like,
scarab.
and it's like kind of like, no matter what, you're gonna get them
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
Especially when it starts getting hotter or it rains. And I remember being like, damn, I'm gonna miss this place. And then like I went into my bathroom and I saw a fucker that was like this big. And I just looked at it and I just made eye contact with it. It was like he was like chilling. It was like he was like smoking a cigarette. He was like, "What?" You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
and they fly as well.
they're so gross,
They're awful.
man. That's the one thing is like, there's no bugs. I mean, there are bugs here, but like fireflies. We saw fireflies.
I was just in Tennessee the other week.
Yeah.
And I was getting decimated by mosquitoes, like absolutely ate up. Came out here, I haven't seen a single mosquito so far. I'm sure they exist, but the volume of them is so small comparatively to humid places.
If you're on like the trails and shit.
Yeah, where the rivers at.
Yeah, like me and Square went to the trail and they had like the little creeks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got some bites there.
They'll be by with the water.
But like here, it's crazy because that's the thing is like I'm used to like there being some element of risk with going outside, like small things, but like for example going out and then all of a sudden like a week before tour I look and I see a tick on me and I'm like, that's awkward. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah, like we used to get like centipedes sometimes. We would get fuck dude, like I mean like mosquitoes are so bad. Also, there's just like gators and shit. Like that's the thing is like here you can go swimming. Like you can go swimming anywhere, right? And you're fine for the most part. But like here it's like, oh, you're never gonna run into a gator. Like it's just not a thing. You're in the mountains. Yeah, I just I appreciate it. The one thing I didn't like though, moving up here is it gets It doesn't get like cold. But like I wasn't like ready for winter and I didn't know anybody at that point. So it felt like I was just like in my fucking apartment all the time because I didn't want to go out. Because I was like cold and not like built for it because I'm used to it being hot all year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but no.
Well, this time you're gonna be ready because you've been socializing, you've been
meet some friends.
making friends and shit. And I'm not jealous. And
We made a friend today.
we did. Jacob?
Jordan, I don't know. He didn't say his last name.
Jordan, yes.
Yeah,
we
no,
watched him perform as well.
Yeah, we went to. I feel like we could shout him out.
Yeah.
We went to. Well, I don't want to say where he works, but we went to a place, and we had a really nice conversation with him. And he seemed like a guy I would have been friends with in middle school.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be friends with him now.
He recommended all the best hot sauces, and he was on point.
Yeah, for sure. He was like very much like a hot sauce man.
Yeah.
But so he was like, hey, by the way, like if you guys aren't doing anything, I'm in this band called the Deviled Eggs, and they do like almost like vaudeville type.
Yeah.
Like he plays like what was it, like the washboard bass or something.
Yeah, it's like one string.
Yes, one string, and then like there's like a big ass washboard on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then he was like running that shit through like pedals and stuff.
Yeah.
But the band was called the Deviled Eggs, and it was funny. Like the front man was like super charming.
Yeah.
And we showed up and we were like, oh, we're gonna go to that. We got ramen.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, it'd be nice to go there, but we were kind of like, oh, we're like full from ramen and shit. And then we're sitting there talking to the server, and she was just like, oh yeah, well it was a place called Fleetwood, and she was just like, oh yeah, well like Fleetwood's like right down there, and I was like, holy shit, like we could just walk there from here. Yeah.
So we did, and then we enjoyed it. It was cool. It felt like, oh damn, like an Animal Crossing or some sort of like a JRPG where you run into a character and they're like, hey, I got this thing later on if you want to come and watch. And it's like a side quest that's like you can choose to do or not. And we ended up running into the side quest and completing it.
I noticed that like that happens a lot here. I've just maybe it's just from me forcing myself to be more social, but I'll like talk to somebody and then they'll be like, oh well, you know, I'm playing a show, or like I got this art thing or whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool, you know.
It's nice out here, man. I'm glad you found yourself a place that
I
feel like is more fitting to you.
For sure, it's a vibe. I like it a lot. I like that it reminds me a lot of Austin.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it more than Austin though,
Me too.
honestly. Like
because it's unlike Austin, it's not like flat land. It's it's all of the mountains fully covered in forests and trees, and just like it's so beautiful out here, y'all. It's right by the Smokies, you know. It's,
like I'm looking at the Blue Ridge right now. Like you can like see the outline.
It's
like,
crazy. So I think it's because of that I like it more.
Yeah.
And it's less spread. It feels less downtown, and everything feels less spread out than Austin.
Yeah.
Like it feels even more walkable than Austin does. So
for sure. And there's like cool little pockets. Like we went to like West Ashville today, and like that's got like a totally different vibe than downtown. Like it's got like it's like more spread out. That reminds me a lot of Austin. Like that little strip.
That's true.
Yeah, but there's like cool shit. There's like I still haven't. It's like there's so many places I want to take you while you're here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Can we go on a hike or like a trail or something?
Yeah. I could take you down to like Bent Creek or somewhere.
Is that the one you went with Square?
Yeah. We didn't go that far though because it was raining. Not raining, but it had been raining. So it was like super. Yeah, I almost busted my ass. It was good.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been fine. It was like not like. I would have just fell on like grass, you know. True. But like
we can bring you in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Dude, what if like we go hiking and I'm pushing around in a wheelchair?
That'd be good. That's a smart idea, dude. That's really smart.
Why are you saying it as if it ain't?
I mean,
you're saying it is smart, but your voice, it sounds like you don't mean it.
No, no. Why would you think that? Are you saying that I'm insincere?
It sounds like you could be insincere.
I disagree. I think that you're just paranoid.
It could be one of those really good chairs where it's like you don't have to apply too much force. It kind of like has its own motor and stuff.
You remember when we were looking at like the most expensive wheelchairs money can buy the other day?
Yes.
And we were like, oh dude, we're gonna drop 10 grand on this fucking wheelchair that we don't need. Yeah, but that is cool though, because like they had the one that was motorized and it looked like it had like the big ass like off-road tires, and you could be like, oh, you want to go uphill? It would like bring you back and then you just go up. Like
that's so
it's
sick.
like on a hinge. Like these are here, but then these it just goes. The seat goes crazy,
and it takes a lot of weight. They're like really good, you know.
Yeah,
so.
No, it was really cool. But the one thing was like seeing the dude do it. The dude who clearly was not paralyzed, right? And he's doing, he's like, look how good it is. And he's like going up the thing, and it takes like fucking like 5 minutes to get up this small hill. And he's just like, you tried, to be fair, try doing that in an actual wheelchair, yes.
Yeah.
For sure, I get it. Like, could be worth the money.
For sure.
But it did look a little bit.
But maybe not worth for us.
Like, have you ever seen Mr. Plow on The Simpsons?
Yes.
It's like that energy of like it's a little much. You know?
What was the other things I was showing y'all recently? Oh, that drills through mountains and stuff. Like
I've never.
Oh, I showed Mitch that one.
Yeah,
it's like you can get this drill for like a reasonable price, like $60,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I could do that.
And it's this,
I could swing it.
It's one of these industrial drills that can burrow through mountains and create like tunnels.
Like how
stuff.
big is it? Like the drill bit itself.
The drill, it's like maybe 12 feet tall and 12 feet wide. Just the front of the drill or something. I don't know. It's a big drill.
So like you're saying that you could like easily store it.
If you have a
warehouse.
Or if you have a big garage or a warehouse.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it is big. It is large. That one I probably won't get for a
cool.
while because I don't need it.
Dude, you remind me of my dad. My dad had this thing where he would see like construction equipment and then just be like, oh man, what I would do with that. And I was like, what would you do with that?
Shit, stuff, man. You can do stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, how about the turrets? The fucking I found turrets.
Oh, that I remember. Yeah,
that one is sick. Actual proper turrets.
Turrets that shoot bullets.
Defense turrets, yeah, that you can set up around your house perimeter, and you can technically set them up to recognize faces, specific faces. So that
what's the legality on that?
It's not legal.
But you can buy them.
But you can buy it. It's
You
just
can
not,
buy them, you just can't use them.
I think you can't fully use them unless you're like killing brown children in the Middle East with them, you know? But if it's here in America,
Yeah, I didn't plan on doing that too much, so
yeah, me neither.
maybe I'm not the target market.
I think basically there are people who are allowed to use it, and there's people, and then there's the rest of us, type shit, you know. And
yeah.
honestly, they're probably like not the best technology. I feel like turrets,
Yeah.
they look cooler in video games and movies and things like that. I just don't know how practical they are because there's too much room for error. Because even let's say like I program my turrets to recognize your face and hide and all that. I'm like, okay, well when Bill comes over, he just walk right past the turrets. They won't attack him. What if like it slightly doesn't recognize your face for a second?
Yeah,
you know?
like how you look at, sometimes like you'll look
at your face
ID,
ID.
and it's like and then you have to be like, you have to like lock
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Which is the funniest shit ever,
Yeah,
right?
you go-
It's like, let me make my face look more like my face. Like,
Yeah, what is your lock-in face when you do that?
Just
iPhone
like-
thing? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I get serious.
yeah, for sure. I just try to like be as like dead down here but alert up here as possible. There's nothing, no
Nothing
muscle.
happening here. Yeah, but it's all in
But
the
everything's,
eyes.
I shift everything. It's like, like in spaceships where they're just like, more power to the shields, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, more power to the thrusters.
You just move all your
Yes,
power just
my
up.
sliders are going crazy.
I like that. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Have you played Starfield?
No, I have not.
It's okay, but
okay. It
but
looks
the
okay.
but the one thing I really appreciate is that when you drive the ship,
Yeah.
you do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it makes me feel like I'm like the whole game. I'm like, oh, this is like pretty cool. But like
Yeah.
when you're in the ship, I'm like, that
I
feels
saw
good.
screenshots of like the mechanics and like all the gear that's on the ship and stuff like that, and that
Yeah.
shit looks really sick.
I mean, it feels kind of like if you like Skyrim but space.
My only problem with it is that from what I've heard people say that it's not. My favorite thing about Skyrim is just like walking and being like, oh, what's this?
Yeah,
I'm in a
it's not
random
as-
place I've never been before, but you can't really do that in Starfield, from what I understand.
Yeah, like you kind of can and you kind of can't. Like also because it's like you go to a place and it's just like, oh, this is a place, and then you get on a ship and you go to another place, which is like inherently like a different thing entirely.
It's like
but-
when in Skyrim when you get the DLC and you can access a part of Morrowind, but you can only go there by boat.
My dog is making silly noises.
It's okay, they can't hear.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
It's just us, and our hearts will be breaking. but
yeah,
they
for
can't hear
sure.
it.
Yeah, she really wants to be out here, but I can't let her out here because I'm afraid she'll jump off.
Yeah,
The
because she's a
balcony.
small dog, and
Yeah.
this balcony. I don't think she would fall, but there's
She
still a
wouldn't.
chance.
Like I feel like she's dumb enough to where she'd
Yeah.
like really work at it. It's more about for me. Like, okay, the other day, like I was out here with somebody and they were holding her, and they were like, "Oh, this will keep her away from that." And then she just like went to like just jump off this thing, and I was just like, like I had to like, she would have died a terrible death.
Yeah, maybe. Unless a bird would have caught her from
Oh,
underneath.
where's the hawk?
Like Gandalf.
We were talking crazy about the hawk earlier.
Yeah, that's right. That's the hawk that needs to save her. While
Exactly.
carrying the cat, your neighbor's
Yeah.
cat, that's still going.
Yeah. While we were talking about Starfield, though, I did want to bring up the funniest part about Starfield is like, you know how like when you talk to someone in Skyrim or Fallout or anything, like you and I are talking and we're just like right here, we're locked in, like, and it's like the world stops a bit. In Starfield, we'll be talking and then someone will just like walk right in front of us, like in between, and then they'll just be like.
That kind of used to happen in some game. Oh man, you remember when Oblivion? The way they try to do is like anytime you talk to someone, it would just kind of zoom in on them a little bit.
Yeah.
I always thought that was so jarring.
It was.
You know, and just like they'd be walking, you turn to them, and they look directly at you, and it's like kind of zooms in a little bit.
Yeah, it was very like, and their eyes would look
Yeah.
at, the faces have not changed, by the way. That's
Oh,
the one
yeah.
thing is like in Starfield they were all like, oh man, like it's gonna look so realistic, and it's
Yeah.
like the same, but then like their faces move more in like unnatural ways. Also, just like
Yeah, their
what-
engine is weird for
for
people.
talking about Oblivion, one of my favorite parts of that whole thing was like when you fuck up in front of like an officer or
Yeah.
whatever, like specifically him being like, "Stop! You have violated the
The
law.
law. Yeah.
Then pay with your blood."
Yeah.
like,
no matter where you are, you
Exactly.
can commit a crime. And that's yeah.
I know they reuse a lot of voice actors in a lot of those games, but that one was like really like.
In Oblivion, it was pretty heavy.
Yeah,
In
for
Skyrim, it
sure.
felt like, oh damn, now they got 4 voice actors.
Exactly. Yeah, you get like the one guy who talks like this.
Yeah, I heard they're reforming the Dawnguard. That guy.
fucking dude.
yeah. Everything is for sale. That guy. Every time.
Oh, man. Every time we hang out, I always want to play Skyrim.
Yeah, me
I
too.
always associate that with you because
It's a good game, man. It's a good game. It's
for sure.
Remember, was it like 5 years ago? They showed us the title for the next Elder Scrolls game, which is not
Yeah.
even the title. It's just like a placeholder
Yeah.
and like random visuals that apparently aren't associated with the game.
Hell yeah.
And then we never saw anything again.
Is that still not?
I think they started working on it a couple years ago, a few years ago.
It just feels like one of those things that like. That's like their bread and butter, right?
It is, because Skyrim, even after, like, it's been more than 10 years now, but remember, like, throughout the first 10 years, it became like the new Resident Evil 4 in the sense that it was literally ported to everything.
Yeah.
And then it had its own, like, 10th anniversary edition. I like to call it, I feel like Doom was the OG game for that.
For sure.
And then Resident Evil 4 was, like, the PlayStation 2 GameCube.
They were really
generation of
hammering that one in. Yeah.
and then Skyrim was the next one. I wonder what is like the current. I mean, you got Fortnite, you got Minecraft, you got these like evergreen games, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like those games almost don't count.
because they get updated constantly.
They're also like so like in a pocket of their own that it's
Yeah.
like
They're
okay,
almost like their own genre.
like for whatever reason, and maybe this is my brain being dumb, but I just like I look at Minecraft as like not a game. Like it is
Yeah.
a game. It very much is a game.
It can be a game, but it's also like a different thing.
It's like
more than a
this
game.
isn't like, oh, I came up on Zelda and hey, I went through Zelda and I beat Zelda and we all talk about Zelda for like 2 months and then we move on.
Yeah.
Like it's like Minecraft is like same thing with I guess Fortnite, any kind of like competitive game
Yeah.
also doesn't count in the same way for me.
But Minecraft in particular, because it's also got the role-playing elements and it's got the
Yeah.
competitive world. It's got so many different worlds.
for
Because like,
sure.
I think during the whole Dream SMP, and from what I understand, all of them have been canceled since apparently. But like that was not necessarily just the Minecraft game. It was like there's two things that, from what I understood, were going on. There was like one side of the Dream stuff that was like speedrunning Minecraft, and that became like such a big thing.
Yeah.
Because people like Dream and stuff would come up with like creative ways, like, okay, it's me versus 3 people who are trying to actively kill me while I'm trying to beat the game, and if they kill me even once, I lose.
For sure.
And that should like, that sounds like, oh, that'd be tough, but when it's like a speedrunner doing it versus
Yeah.
the people, there is something like, whoa, how the hell did he do that? There's like a
Yeah.
it's like watching, it felt like watching skateboard tricks almost. We're like,
For
how
sure,
the fuck did he do that?
yeah,
It takes
yeah.
like a lot of like skill and
I do think
calculation.
that that's like an interesting thing too, because like I watch a lot of speed runs and I've never really got into like that
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, it's really
but
interesting.
but it's interesting the idea of like, oh, like there's other people against you.
Yeah.
And making it almost like some fucking like Hunger Games ass shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's like a cool idea.
It is a cool idea, and it really
Yeah.
caught on. And then the characters that were like in those videos basically just started their own Minecraft server, and they would like role play characters from what I understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would come in and out, and they have like different stories and stuff. But like, that's another element. Now like, people can, it's like a TV show almost
Yeah,
for people.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, oh, they're invested in the characters they like, and ha ha ha.
That's cool.
You know, and so Minecraft is almost like a dollhouse where it's like it is as fun as you are creative,
Facts.
you know,
Yeah.
or as fun as like your friends are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I look at, yeah, I mean, it's, to me, it's like almost like, it's the same as like, not the same, but it's like, reminds me of like Gary's Mod or even like
Gary's Mod
Mugen,
was so good.
like shit like that, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool, like, this is like as cool as you make it.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, my brain is not like, that's a game.
Yeah.
I had it on Xbox. It is a game, but
It
my
is.
brain is
I know
like,
what you mean.
Yeah.
But just because you had it on your Xbox doesn't mean it's a game. I mean, shit, I had the Korg DS10 or whatever.
Oh,
on
I
the
had that
Nintendo
on the
DS.
Switch.
I had it on the DS.
Yeah. They have, well, I don't know if it's the DS10, but they had a thing on the Switch that was a Korg one.
Yeah, I think it's like the port of the DS one with like more stuff.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Which is cool, yeah. The fact that you could like play around with synths, make little loops and stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
The DS was so sick, dude. And the 3DS, because they also had like the drawing and animation games.
Yeah,
where it would teach you to draw. Like the Pokemon game, where they would literally just like, oh, this is how you draw a Pikachu. This is how and then like they would let you fuck around with yourself and do your own expression of it. And it's like, because of the haptic feedback. Why say haptic feedback? Like you literally are drawing and seeing what's happening. You know, you're not using a controller.
Like seeing that immediate, like it was just like, oh, this is it. You know what I mean?
But
like,
isn't it wild that since the DS, we kind of haven't really the gimmicky shit is now like almost entirely localized within the VR and AR spheres, as far as I've seen. I'm sure there's gimmicks.
Yeah.
But like the last thing I remember is the Switch Ring, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I got that recently.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. That should.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you see that tweet I sent you where someone was using it and then it stopped and said like, your heart is beating too fast, and it measures the heart, and you are having a heart attack, and it does like you're having a heart attack, and they're like leave the screen on and contact the paramedic and have them come and keep the screen up until then. And all these things, and apparently the dude was like, I'm just fat. This thing is telling me I'm having a heart attack.
That's so funny.
I'm not.
That is so fucking funny.
But but you know what I'm saying? There was like a whole era where it felt like there was like, ooh, what can we do to get a little weird with how we can implement, video games? And
I feel like that there was like a pocket for that, where it was like, I remember like getting the DS, and the DS was some shit that I could like show my grandpa.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what the hell? This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's
the puzzle games, crossword, Sudoku.
Yeah. I think though that for whatever maybe it's because like people didn't want. I think the Wii fucked it up. I'm gonna be real, okay? Because I think the Wii was like awesome.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like if I want to play a fucking a Zelda game, but I don't want to do this shit. I should be able to like allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Whereas like, and so it was like, oh, okay, well, like, that's just like a part of it. It's like when you like shoehorn that into things that don't necessarily need it, and sometimes it was cool. And sometimes it was like, holy shit, like that's like, isn't like wasn't like Call of Duty on the Wii supposed to be like good? Because
apparently because of the aiming.
I never played it, but
I mean, Resident Evil 4, in my opinion, the best version, because you know me, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game.
Yeah.
And my favorite version is the Wii one.
Yeah.
I think the Wii one is the best if you want accuracy, especially if you get one of those like, I had the Resident Evil 4 like gun thing that you would put your controller in. And yet visually it still looked kind of like the GameCube and PS2 ones.
For sure.
So it had this wonderful charm. And everything that came afterwards, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of remakes where it's not even a remake, it's just they'll be like, insert here HD. I mean, it's a higher rendition, but like it's still the same polygon count. So it just looks less good.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks sharper, but with the same like lack of quality, and so that's why like when I got that Trinitron a few years ago, and I played like, and it's a great CRT screen, and I played a PS2 game on it. And the PS1 games, they looked so good. I forgot games looked so good back then because in my head, like I'm thinking like, digitally how I see stuff.
Yeah, you've been seeing like these games on your phone or on like a TV on a
like Ocarina, like Ocarina of Time. When I see it on YouTube, I'm seeing like, I'm not seeing how it would look on a CRT screen.
For sure.
Like how everything, like the colors and everything was so intentional. It looked way higher quality than it does when it's sharpened. And
Yeah,
like, you know what
yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure. I think like there's certain games that it worked and there's certain games that it didn't, but it was like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff in that like PS2, GameCube era
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, hey, here it is in HD, and they're just like, okay, cool, we've just like blown it the fuck up.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember like the Wind Waker one was like pretty good.
Yeah.
The one that was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
It sucks that it was on the fucking Wii U.
Yeah.
Of all things. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember getting it and I was like, because I got the Wii U for Smash.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I was like, I asked for money for it for Christmas. So I was like, hey, my mom was like, hey, what do you want? And I was like, just give me money for a Wii U because I want to get the new Smash.
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody was like, I don't know if it was, like, just my friend circle, but they were like, hey, Smash is coming. They
Yeah.
fixed the console.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so, like, I got it, and I got a total of 3 games. I got Smash. I got
Wind Waker and Mario Kart.
Wind Waker. I did not get Mario
Okay.
Kart. I got Wind Waker, and then I got Pokken, and I played it once. I played it one time.
Oh, damn it.
And I was like, oh, this is fun. But I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
it's on the Wii U.
Yeah, I
and
had it on the
just-
Switch. Yeah, the Wii U, man, especially because Smash, that's the one that was also on the 3DS. You could have just gotten on the 3DS.
Well,
right?
I had it on the 3DS, but I thought it was going to be like, it kind of was like,
it was, yeah,
it
I
was
see what you're
better,
saying.
but like,
I
it was
prefer
kind of
the
the
3DS one 'cause
same
it was in the
game.
pocket, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions for video games in the future? Because I just had an idea. You know how like the last 2 Resident Evils, they try to incorporate the numbers, the Roman numerals into
Oh,
the
yeah.
titles, right? And so the next one would be the 9th game, right?
Yes.
So it'd have to be something like Resident Evil Helix, where the last 2, the IX, are the 9.
Oh, that's
or something
fire.
like that,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that's a prediction of mine, that they're still going to try to...
What if it was like Resident Evil 6, but it was SIX and it's
Dude, that's
69? What?
that's
Yeah.
some like, what games do that? That's a Kingdom Hearts-esque convention of
Yeah,
some sort.
yeah, for sure. No, I feel like it will be like something like Helix. I will say, like, this isn't like a prediction like that, but I feel like, and this isn't like a hot take, I don't think, but like, I feel like graphics are gonna like not be as important. Like, okay, like, because I feel like we're not ever, maybe we will, right? But I feel like we're kind of hitting this like diminishing return space right now, where it's like we can increase the size of the thing, but like, it feels to me like a lot of games like kind of look worse now.
Yeah.
Not because like it'll look technically better, but like
Yeah.
the art direction will be like, oh shit, like this
Yeah.
isn't quite it. And I think it's because like people are trying to push it and make it like more real, and it's like we've hit this weird ceiling of like, okay, cool, like stylized stuff is like not style. I don't know how to basically what
No,
I'm
but I
getting
know what
at-
you mean. You know how like the jump from the PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2
Yeah.
felt pretty big.
For
Jump
sure.
from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 felt pretty big.
Yeah.
But then you look at these, I've seen comparisons of the same game on PS4 and PS5,
Yeah.
and I'm like, bro, that's very similar.
Yeah.
It's like, I can barely tell the difference. Like,
For
do
sure.
I really need to play it on the PS5?
I also think that like when they do the Switch 2 or whatever, like because it's basically like an even playing field if they because they're saying that it's supposed to be as like docked, it's supposed to be like a basically like whatever the better PS4 is, right? And I'm just like, okay, cool. Then that's basically a PS5
Yeah.
in my brain. I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it, it's like the same shit. Okay, so like now like Nintendo's back in the shit in
Yeah.
graphics,
Yeah.
right? Like because it hasn't been for a long time where like people were like, oh, this is like.
But then again,
they're
like the Zelda
cut-
games were pretty, and the Mario Kart is beautiful.
Exactly,
And
but
Mario
I feel
Kart is
like
beautiful.
there's like a special type of gamer
Yeah.
that might not even exist anymore. Maybe this is just a thing that
That's
I
like
grew up
graphics.
with. That's just like, yeah, man, like, but it's no Halo.
I need
You know what
120
mean? Like,
frames. Yeah,
exactly.
No, there's still people out there
Yeah.
like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's the thing that they're all just PC gamers now.
Yeah.
And then now I feel like now that I have a PC that's
Yeah.
really like good and I can play games and it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But like I don't care.
No.
Like I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, dude, this is neat. I got this so I can stream and it won't fucking explode.
Yeah, I'm happy to play on my Steam Deck and not get necessarily all the detail that I would on a
Yeah,
big screen.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it's gonna be though. I think that it's just gonna like it's gonna kind of taper off on like graphical stuff until like there's like some kind of big jump that someone finds or something. I don't know. Like,
What about VR and AR? I feel like you know what? Like when we were younger. Remember when VR was like introduced into arcade machines and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was like, whoa, this will be the future. And then no one gave a shit. Then there was like the 3D movies, like
Yeah.
when Spy Kids 3 came out. It was Spy Kids 3D, I think. You know, and I remember seeing in theaters and being like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then like I remember it just dying out.
Do people do 3D movies anymore?
Oh, dude, that's a good question. Like I'm sure there's got to be some.
I saw a movie like 5 or 6 years ago in 3D, and it was like a little bit.
Piranhas.
What happened?
Piranhas 3D. No, I'm joking. That's an awful movie.
I did see Piranhas 3D.
It is good.
When it came out.
Yeah,
I went on a date. Wait, what year was that?
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel like I was on a date,
Nice.
and I went and we watched Piranhas 3D. And
I
it
wasn't
was-
on day 2 when I saw it. A girl showed it to me.
Yeah.
She showed me that in Teeth.
Oh man,
I was like, these are interesting.
Teeth was. I liked
Teeth
Teeth
was
when I
funny as
saw
fuck.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I was
it
laughing the entire
Yeah, it
time.
was like ridiculous. It was such
Yeah,
a
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, no.
Biting dicks off with her
Yeah, that's,
teeth and her
somebody's got to
vagina.
do it, you know. But yeah, no. No, fucking. Yeah, the last 3D movie I saw was like a long time ago, and it's like one of those things. It's like by the time my eyes adjusted, it was like I didn't care anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And on the 3DS, I would rarely use the 3D function. You know when you like barely touch it a bit before you
Yeah.
go all the way up, it would make everything look a little nice.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
the setting I would leave.
I
it
feel like
on.
that was like a thing that everyone I knew did that.
Yeah, I
It would be
think
like
that's what
it'd be like
everyone did.
if the slider goes all the way 100%,
Yeah.
it would be like at the like 15 to
Yeah,
20
yeah,
mark,
yeah.
and then it would be like, oh, this is like where if you did it all the way up, it feels like you were just like this the whole
Yeah,
time. Like,
exactly.
it was, like,
I only do it
cross-eyed.
all the way up for like certain games where they're like deliberately you had to kind of, otherwise it would be hard to see where you
Yeah.
are. Like there's certain Mario games that did, but then
Yeah.
like VR just never really picked up. And then
Nah.
Pokemon Go came out, and I remember everyone was like, AR is the future.
Yeah.
Augmented reality.
I totally could see
That'd be
AR
more
being like
applicable. Well, I mean,
For
that's what the
sure.
Apple. That's what the Apple fucking goggles are, right? Like it's like you can wear them around your house, and
Yeah.
like you can see your house, but you can set up monitors and
you just have
different
a
things around your
fucking
house.
heads-up display at all times.
Basically,
yeah.
like you put it on, and there's TVs and whatever you want all over the place. Your
Yeah.
your whole house can have. You can basically put furniture in your house that isn't interacting with your other furniture. It's
Hell
like
yeah.
in a different realm, in an augmented reality, and that idea is fascinating. It could be good.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the closest we've gotten to like a real life applicable use that
Yeah.
not like a gimmick.
That's
like,
not a
to say-
game, you know?
Yeah, like Pokemon Go was awesome.
It's
like
fun as
I have
fuck.
a bunch of my friends still play that shit and it's cool. But I think that like that's the direction we're going is when like, oh, okay, like everything's AR. And then there's also games that are AR, and those become more prevalent.
Yeah.
But I think that like it's weird though because it still feels like a gimmicky thing. Like
It
it'll be like
does.
it'll be its own thing, and there will be like cool shit that comes from it. I really feel like that.
Yeah.
But it's like to me, I'm like, oh, okay. I look at like playing a game, especially like I play a lot of single player games and stuff, and, like with stories and stuff like that, and I'll be like, oh, okay, like this is like akin to reading a book, and I don't think that we're gonna see too many
No.
of those. It'll
But it's
be
more
like,
cumbersome than reading a book because with AR you gotta interact, you gotta move
Yeah.
sometimes and stuff like that. Whereas with a video game or a book, the escape doesn't require you to like physically like really.
You just
get
have
into
to
it. You could just lock in.
lock in, yeah.
And then VR started becoming a thing because everyone's talking about like the metaverse and everybody was talking about the goddamn. Oh yeah, the VR stuff is in the future, and then all these companies started sinking a whole ton of money into VR. And look, VR's gotten really good, like especially the Meta Quest. They're like fairly affordable
Yeah.
and they're fun. But as someone who has a VR set, I've only played VR twice, 2 days, because it was making me fucking dizzy after a while, and I couldn't adapt to it. I was just like, this is
It's
good.
the same shit as
It's too
the
much.
fucking what was the virtual boy or
Oh,
whatever?
dude, the red with the red.
Dude,
fucking-
my cousin had a virtual boy.
Oh, that's sick. I
Yeah,
never
and
seen one.
she was like, I went over to their house, and I played it, and I thought it was like super cool, and it didn't make me dizzy or anything like
Yeah.
that, right? But I was like, oh, like this is the fucking future. This is so cool. And I was pretty young, like I was like 5 or 6 or whenever it first came out. Like she got it for Christmas, and like I thought that shit was like super cool. But then like I would talk to my aunt about it, and she's like, yeah, it gives me headaches. I think that like we're gonna take it back and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, oh damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
nah.
yeah, as a kid, I would definitely have appreciated it, but like,
Yeah, but that's
now
the
as a-
same shit as like,
Yeah, it's just I'm like, I see like the intention, but I think it doesn't seem like they're sticking the landing just yet.
for sure. I also think that it's like,
Maybe they don't have the best video game developers on it. Maybe
That's
they
what
have,
I'm saying, is
Maybe
like-
they have good like engineers like and stuff.
I
but that's
feel
not-
like it's the same shit. To me, it gives me the same like energy as like AI bro shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh man, like it's like a bunch of people who want to make money and they're shoehorning like money
Yeah.
into it. They're like, hey, like let's do this and it'll be cool. But it's like the people who are like creatively involved and stuff aren't like the people who are like, yeah, let's do this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't know.
Well, like Half-Life Alyx is like a rare exception where it's like,
I still haven't played that one.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful and it's great. But when I watched this Mitch play it, and like you have the way you move is like you point and click and you move, and I'm just like, that kills me. Like
Yeah.
VR is supposed to like throw you into the world, but like I can't walk around smoothly, right,
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Then it actually feels like less realistic than just me looking at a TV screen and being like consistently playing it. It feels like it takes me out of the experience. Also, they're heavy. You know, like
Yeah.
even the lighter ones are still heavy. It's
For
like
sure.
a controller is just a controller, a phone is just a phone. This thing's on your fucking head, and if you have glasses, which I don't have to worry about, but for Mitch and stuff like that, like it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's so many problems with it, and I wonder if like within our lifetimes, VR is gonna get figured out, and whether it will reach like a point of like VR is sick, but it sucks for video games.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
like
that
you know
shit.
who I thought like had it figured out at first. You remember like Google Glass,
Oh yeah, the
like back in the day, like
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
have because like I saw the ad for
I
that shit, and I was
remember.
like, oh my god, like
This is the future.
yeah, because the ad was so good, the way they
Yeah.
did it, and I was like, oh man, like this, and so like I think the only way to actually do it is to have it has to be some real futuristic shit. It's got to be small. It's got to be like shades.
Yeah.
It's got to be like sort of stylish. It's got to be like something that you would actually wear. Like if you see somebody
And
like,
customizability too.
exactly, yeah. Like I feel like you have to make it to where it's like not just this one thing that's like. I know this isn't that weird, because you see people in cities like walking around with the fucking headsets on and shit.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
But
yeah.
it's weird.
It's
You know what
fucking
I
weird.
mean?
And I see them and I'm like, I hope you get robbed. I don't know why, but there's a part of me that's like, you are gonna get robbed, and I think it's okay that you'll get
Yeah.
robbed. And I think that's the other part of it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
when these glasses come out, it's gonna take a while before they become affordable enough to where like everyone can have them. Do you remember when iPods first started coming out? And much of our
crazy.
audience might be too young for this, but like the iPod was like Apple introduced like the white earbuds with the strings and everything. But before, everyone who made earbuds kind of made them black. They were always
Yeah.
black or gray. And then Apple, they made their own white ones that would come with the iPod. And so what started happening is like people would constantly get robbed if they had white earbuds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
facts.
they would have that or their iPods stolen, etc. So because you would basically like telegramming to people like, I have money,
for sure.
you know, and I have.
It's like not the
means.
flex you want. It's like the same energy, and I know this is different, but like, do you remember this thing was going around a few years ago where it's like people who are sneakerheads could get like these little tags that you could like put on your shoe, and it would show like it would connect to the internet or whatever or your phone, and it would show like real time like what the going price is of your shoes.
Yeah.
Because
oh my
like,
God.
okay, if you have it in your own, it's dumb to have in the first place, right? But if you have it in your own home, there is like a cool thing of like, okay, if you're into like buying and selling shoes, and you're really on that sneakerhead shit, and that's kind of cool. But like wearing that shit out is like, what are you doing, bro? Like, it is insane.
It is insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's what, yeah, I don't know. The future of, I'm curious, I'm sure there's people who out there who know way more about it. I mean, Roger probably knows so much more, and we
For
could ask
sure.
him one day, but
For sure.
just as a normie from the outside looking in, to me, it's like,
Yeah.
I just feel like we're not near it. I know that a lot of people with the new Apple goggles or whatever were like, oh, we're like it or not, we're at the precipice of like this change technologically. I disagree.
I mean, I think that we are, to an extent, of like, in the same way that like, I don't know if you want to use the word precipice or not, but like, I think that we're in, like, if video games, we're in like the Atari of that. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, man, people are gonna look like, oh my God, like this was like a thing that pushed everything forward and it was fucking sick. But like, you're still in the Atari.
Yeah.
You know, like the Atari
we need
was
our
awesome.
Nintendo. We need a Nintendo.
We need the NES. We need
Do you think
like,
Nintendo will ever unveil some sort of VR thing?
well, like, I think they kind of like saw, not like that, but
The 3DS was the closest.
they did the 3DS, but then they also did all that shit like the Nintendo Labo or Labo
Oh,
or whatever,
yeah,
which
Labia.
wasn't that, but it was like kinda like
But
it was like
kind of, yeah, and the
you're-
the racing Mario Kart ones as well, where
yeah,
you can get the
yeah.
toys. And,
I don't know. I feel like I know that's not like quite the same thing,
no,
but
they're experimenting.
I
clearly.
feel like if anybody's gonna do it, though, I feel like if they did it, it would either be like amazing or like the worst thing they've ever.
I
done.
think it would need to be either Nintendo or Sony who take it upon themselves to like venture into this world and implement
Yeah.
video games, but they would have to do it hand in hand with good video game developers. You know what? Who would be interesting? Kojima.
I was just thinking that.
What if you told Kojima and Gabe Newell, you throw the two of them into a room and you're just like, guys, make like a good ass VR game
Yeah.
that isn't a shooter.
Also, Hunter Schafer's there for some
And
reason.
Hunter Schafer there.
She's just there.
She's just there so that Kojima feels like motivated.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
inspired.
Exactly. yeah. No, I feel like if anybody were to take it on, well, both of them, if you, just hearing them both in a room would be
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been in a room together at some point.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, especially, I feel like Kojima is so like whenever he's done things with video games, it always felt like, why isn't everyone doing that? Like, for instance, I saw
Yeah.
this video recently that I hadn't seen before of him like developing Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
And there's this video of him like developing the first level. And the way he did it with the guys is like, they built it out of a Lego set. And then he takes this little camera, like my handicap, and he starts running it through it and watching the screen and like seeing where the
that's
character would move. Like,
gas.
oh, and you could go underneath here. And he would design things like
That's so cool.
yeah, with like actual like. And when I saw that, I was like, "Doy, why isn't
Yeah,
everyone doing that?" You know,
for
like
sure.
that's genius. Like that gives you a better sense of like actual space and perspective, and
For sure.
and I feel like he's got the kind of brain
Yeah.
that like maybe could come up with something creative for VR.
Yeah, I think also, like, a part of me too, okay, maybe this is because I'm such a big Kojima fanboy, but if he were to have literally put out the same thing that, like, the Apple headset, Apple VR is, or whatever, but it just, like, had his heads-up displays
Yeah.
and the UI sounds
his
and
UIs.
everything,
I would cop it.
I would so be a slut
I
for
would
that.
cop it,
I would
yeah.
so be like, oh man, this is the coolest thing that's ever
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
It could be like, it could even be worse.
Yeah.
Like, where I would be like, this is the cool. All it needs is the fucking Kojima logo on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
You know, and then like
And some cool music picked out in different places. But yeah, the UIs.
Exactly.
I'm such a big fan of his aesthetic.
He always posts good music on his Twitter.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
He's always been a huge music head. I mean, this is why he owns so many Walkman. And a lot of people won't know. Even some of our older listeners won't know, like, the Walkman still exists. It stopped existing as cassette tape players, like, decades ago.
Yeah.
And now instead it's like digital music players that are like high def.
Mm-hmm.
So they're higher definition. They'll play FLAC and WAV files in a way that your iPhone or Android phone aren't really capable of doing.
It's like real audiophile shit.
Yeah, and you can boost it to levels that, again, phones won't usually be able to accomplish, and it's strictly for music, right?
Yeah.
And them shits cost more than iPhones.
For sure.
And all they do is just play music, but they're really, really expensive, especially the Walkman, the Sony Walkman, because of like the build, the design, everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Sony definitely has some of the most autistic designers throughout the years because their shit has always been so like, oh, whoever came up with this is like,
they're
incredible.
like all the way in
This
it.
is all they do. This is like they're so.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always had those, and he posts music, and I mean, every one of his games that he's ever made, with the exception of PT, but even PT to an extent, like music plays such a heavy role. Like Metal Gear Solid, he had like straight up MP3 players that you could use and stuff just to listen to music. And Death Stranding, his music selection is so good in that game, and it makes the game so much more like memorable too.
I had a dream. So you brought up PT. I had a dream the other day that he released like
finished version,
the full version of
Silent
PT.
Hill. PT.
Yeah, and it was like this thing that like he dropped it like out of nowhere, and it got like. I said something to you about it, like I texted you and was like, "Yo, dude, he did it," and then you were like, "Bullshit."
Yeah,
because like it was like completely out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it had someone else involved too. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't like because who did he have? Was it him and Guillermo?
It was him, Guillermo, and I think Junji Ito like gave some input.
Yeah. It was somebody else too, though.
Yeah,
but I can't remember. Like in the dream, it was another person that was like, "Oh, holy shit, he's working with him."
Yeah.
Someone like completely like left field, you know.
Yeah.
And it came out, and then like everybody was like, "This is the best game of all time." Like it was like.
Well, he's working with Jordan Peele. That felt like left field.
For some reason, I thought you were gonna say Jordan Peterson.
He's working with Jordan Peterson, which is a little left field or right
field.
field.
Could you imagine, dude? Oh my god.
No, dude. Imagine in the Jordan Peterson in a Kojima game. You deliver something to him in Death Stranding 2, lobsters.
Yeah.
Like, why are these lobsters? You know, or whatever. He's like, they're damaged.
Yeah.
I'm so sad, man. My lobsters. They're all broken because you.
Yeah, no. The one with Jordan Peele is gonna be really dope, though.
Yeah, and there's like other people apparently that just haven't been obviously like revealed yet. But he'll do a thing where like he'll get a director who's like really good at lighting, specifically neon, and he'll be like, I'm gonna get this person to do all the lighting in my game.
That's sick.
You know, he'll be like, he'll basically take people who he thinks are like really good at one specific thing, and be like, do what you think would be cool.
For sure.
And that's really cool. Shouts Kojima.
Yeah, big shouts Kojima. One of the goats. Might be my favorite.
Yeah, might be my favorite too.
Yeah.
Speaking of favorite, it's my favorite time of the podcast. It is the moment when you tell our sweet viewers what the fuck the Patreon's all about.
Oh man, listen. Oh, hold on. I got some shit.
Okay.
I got some shit.
Let's hit it.
So listen. For $5, 5 smackaroos, you could get. You see this episode right now that you're watching? You get another one with that.
No way. Bullshit.
Only $5, okay?
Yeah, right.
No extra charge, unless there is one.
Unless you live in a country where it's like a little more than $5.
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know if there's fees with Patreon. I don't pay attention.
I don't know
to
how
those.
none of that works.
$5.
$5.
Okay. However, there's another aspect of this. I'll say it now. I actually just released something which is actually a hit. A lot of people seem to have really liked this. I released for our $5 patrons a bunch of cut content, cut beats, and a few demos from Snow Globe Theory, and it's like 23 or 24 songs total.
It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them are beats. A lot of them are like it was 3 actual demos. One of them is the demo from What to Say with like just the beat that Frank did and Frank's mix on it, which is like so totally different.
Yeah.
So like that rough mix there, and then another one called bright light that I couldn't get a sample cleared on, and then another one I put on there. It wasn't from there. It was called Kaiju Man, but it was like just something I made around that time.
Man, yeah.
Kaiju Man got the strap. That joint, and a bunch of beats, and yeah. So you can get that and download it, and it'll be what's up.
You can get that, and you can get also like, you know, you've uploaded your Xbox beats in the past from when you were a teenager, or you know, mid 2000s. We, as you said, every week an extra episode, but we also do like, you know, other bonus shit too. We'll upload like very beautiful pictures of ourselves.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful pictures.
We're very handsome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But then also another thing, if you're just like, hey man, I've just got a hole in my wallet that it's burning to give you some money. If you give us $20, then you can be a part of a bi-weekly advice segment where you guys can talk to us directly, and you'll be on the episode behind the paywall, and you can ask us advice. Are we good at answering it? Maybe. Take it away.
That's right. What he said, do what you will with that information. And, you know, stay strong. Say some, you know what, if you got all the way to this point of this episode and you have a moment, maybe you're on YouTube, perhaps, leave a comment for Mitch. He's been working hard. He's gone on a little trip or something.
Yeah. He's been stressed out too because
I've
he's
been
like,
traveling.
we have to record a bunch of episodes, and he's like, oh shit, like we don't have episodes, and I'm gonna be gone. So that's kind of us now.
We're still learning how to backlog our episodes. We'll get there, you know.
Yeah,
but luckily
for
for
sure.
y'all, we haven't missed a single day.
Yeah, we've been good. Yeah, we've been
really
good about
and
it.
we'll continue to be good. It's just it's harder when we're on the road, but look, it's doable. We can still do things.
Yeah, realistically, we're probably gonna just do a bunch of these while we're here.
Yeah.
And we might get some creative stuff. We might move stuff around. We might do different shit. I don't know.
locations, yeah.
Like I feel like it's like a rare chance for us, since we're in person right now, to like do a whole bunch of different
For
shit.
sure. And for instance, this week's bonus episode, it'd be great if you and I continued playing Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
we played it for a full hour and some change a couple weeks ago. That's on our Patreon, and we just want to continue that campaign and maybe beat the whole game, you know, on Patreon, because it's fun as fuck. You know,
For sure.
We'll see
And
where it goes.
It's also like fun to, because like the idea of us actually trying to beat the game instead of just like playing a one-off or whatever reminds me of like the old like Chibi Chubby days a bit.
Yeah.
And it's like a way to kind of get that out, you know, like people.
Oh shit! Look at that.
What
2 minutes left.
Hell yeah! What are we gonna do?
Peace out, y'all.
Bye. Get out of here.
Let's get at 'em.
The following is a preview of this week's Patreon exclusive episode. Available now over on the Void FM podcast Patreon.
Hello. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Put them in the
Leave that
rack.
rare.
Don't put them in the rack. Where do you want them to go?
God damn it!
Welcome to the cock and the ball.
What are you doing?
I don't know what to do.
Put it in the trash!